Yes, sure.
Katrin Brandt, German Radio WDR. 2 questions. Can you tell us something more about the daily life, about those 225 people? What do you do when you get up in the morning till from dusk till dawn? And the other thing is, what have you seen about displaced persons? What's the situation of people living in Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Well, the monitors, their workday doesn't begin in the morning, but sometimes in the night, because they conduct night patrols as well. Whenever they do that, they mount vehicles, 2 vehicles at a time. That's 1 patrol. They are equipped with drivers, observers, interpreters to be able to communicate with the civilian population, learn about their concerns. And then they go home and they report to us. We report to Brussels. So that is more or less their everyday life. In some of the places there's very little opportunity to really relax, so I think it's not altogether an easy job. Sorry, your other question was about the internally displaced persons. Yes. Well, in the adjacent areas, before the conflict, there lived 35,000 internally displaced persons, and they have nearly all been able to return. They are rebuilding their lives. In many cases, their houses are destroyed, or in several cases, and they receive some government support to rebuild them.
Yeah, sure. Brooks.
Yes, Brooks Tickner, Jane's Defense. I wonder if you could tell us if you have some idea of how many Russian troops are still deployed along the far side of the buffer zone, what kind of equipment they have stationed along there pointing toward Georgia. And secondly, in Gori, which suffered heavy damage, has all of the dangerous bombs been removed, or is that something that your force is also looking at? Is there any dangerous material that still needs to be removed? Thank you.
We have no intelligence of our own on the strength of the Russian forces. As you know, the peacekeeping forces of the Russians in South Ossetia were 500, and they've now announced that under their friendship treaty they would station 3,800 normal troops in the area. The process of transition is evidently going on. There are still troops displaying peacekeeper insignia, so we don't really know how many there are at this moment. As far as Gori is concerned, Gori was not heavily destroyed. There were a few buildings destroyed, and they have since been rebuilt. So there are not many traces of destruction to be seen in Gori. This is different in the villages immediately adjacent to the administrative boundary. There are quite a lot of houses to be destroyed. We haven't counted them actually. I can only quote official sources, Georgian sources, and they speak of 1,900 destroyed houses. 1,900. Yes, sorry, was there anything I forgot?
Ammunition.
Unexploded
yes,
ordnance.
Unexploded ordnance. There are no, in the adjacent areas, there are no, almost no mines, but there's a lot of unexploded ordnance. This is a source of worry for us because some of the IDPs are returning too fast. So we are collaborating with the Hello Trust, which is collecting this ordnance. We are conducting a mine awareness campaign for those who return to the areas polluted by AXOs, which are very precisely identified already by Hello Trust.
Okay, yeah, here, then we'll go to Nicolas. Yeah, in the back.
Valentina Pop from EU Observer. What is the situation with the displaced persons from Akalgori region? How many are they? Where are they staying? Are they tenting with winter coming up? Thank you.
There are, according to Georgian government sources, which are very reliable and which UNHCR also takes over, there are some 4,400 refugees from the Akhalgori Valley, outside Akhalgori Valley. There remain a few hundred, but they tend to leave the valley because there's no schooling for their kids, and they move to Tbilisi.
Where are they staying?
Well, as a matter of fact, most internally displaced persons in Georgia are going to Tbilisi rather than to the areas adjacent of their former homes. So I have no exact statistics about that, but they're not waiting at the entrance of the gorge. They are mostly going to Tbilisi.
Nicolas.
Nicolas Grouvéret de l'Europe politique et le quotidien français Ouest France. Just one question, two questions. I don't understand really. When do you think, or do you think it is possible to go inside Georgia, in the part of Ossetia, South Ossetia on Abkhazia? Do you think it's possible, and when? And also for the number of observers, do you think it is necessary, not for instance, but maybe in a few months, 6 months, 3 months, to have more observers or less observers? And for other countries, I think you have some offer for Turkey also.
Well, we've always emphasized that we want to go to to Ossetia and South Ossetia and to Abkhazia, both at the diplomatic level and actually at the checkpoints. So today my deputy, for example, is again driving to the entrance of Akhalgori Valley and demanding access there. We think we have a point in the Sarkozy-Medvedev peace plan. The Russians have undertaken the obligation to withdraw their troops to their previous positions, and we want to see whether that has actually taken place. So we ask and we knock at the door, and I think, as I hinted at before, that the Abkhaz and the Southern Ossetian de facto authorities may have an own interest in admitting us if they want alleged shootings from the Georgian side to be reported, and to be investigated and reported impartially. As far as the number of observers is concerned, we are member states of the EU have generously responded to our appeal, and we have more than we are actually obliged to field, 225 as opposed to 200 under the Sarkozy-Medvedev peace plan. We think that we can cover our needs by reconfiguring the mission as we gather experience as we go along. So we do not need to increase the number significantly at the moment, but every contribution is of course welcome. So far it's a European mission. There are no Turks in it. 22 of the 27 member countries have personnel in the mission, and so far this is satisfactory. The participation of other states outside the European Union would require a decision by the Council.